Hello everyone, a very good morning. Hope I am audible. If you can please confirm this in the message, that will be very helpful. Starting this session today, we are discussing important questions. Today we are discussing it for SEBI exam, but of course these are useful for all other exams also. This is my first video, my first session in this year 2021. Wish you all a very happy new year. Especially I believe that this year you will utilize for making your career. We expect now all exams happening, more vacancies coming, so utilize this year. That can be your best resolution to make your career in 2021. We are doing these sessions daily, so what we have done so far, we have done sessions on all these 6 topics we are doing. So commerce and accounts and costing we have covered on 26th December. Companies Act we did on 2nd Jan, and finance we did on 4th, and today I am doing economics. After that, tomorrow we will be doing the management one. Okay, now tell me the answer to this question. I am waiting for your replies. It is an interesting one, and in today's session I am telling you, if you are going to continue till the end, you are going to learn a lot. Even if you have not started economics, it may be little tougher level, but it is going to be immensely helpful for the exam. Lot of fundamental concepts are being covered in these questions, starting with slightly middle level question. I will say in the difficulty, what is this consumption function and what B represent here? So correct answer is yes. I am happy to see your replies. Meanwhile, I am reading this article for you. Another question is going to come on this. I am not reading it completely, just giving you a glimpse of it, that this is telling about Governor Mr. Das has completed 2 years in RBI. So it says that well spent 2 years. It is basically telling about after the collapse of ILNFS, there was a liquidity crisis in the market, and after that, this last year it was a corona crisis. So in this time, when there is shortage of liquidity resulting partly from this crude oil price, which was before COVID, increase in the crude oil price, deteriorating BOP position. Today BOP position has improved. I will come to that, balance of payment position, and is booked in the bond market. So what it is saying, there is a 225 BPS cut in the repo rate during the time of Mr. Das as a governor. So he has taken some unconventional measures to deal with the pandemic that has helped in boosting the economy, making the interest rate affordable. Okay, and overall he is saying, now when we are talking about 6-month moratorium that came during the time of the corona, though the inflation is higher than the range of the RBI target. RBI target, we all remember. I am repeating so many times, so today I am not saying. So this is a range which is higher than the RBI's target of, so still it is done well, because this lower interest rate in the market is going to help government, because government has to borrow a lot from market. 12 lakh crore is the borrowing program for the government, so lower interest rate are going to help government. So this is the article. Question is going to come on that, but before that let me tell you the answer. Yes, Agnik, Soumya, Nilesh, you people are right. Should also Ashutosh, no, it is not MPS, it is MPC. This equation y is equal to mx plus c, you must be studying from your school days. Okay, so why I am bringing this here? So this is a simple linear equation here. If you don't know much mathematics, not a worry. I am also not a mathematician, but this was linear equation we shall understand. Otherwise, just remember it. So in this consumption function, A, what is this C is your consumption. What happens to your consumption when your income increases or decreases, whatever. So y is your disposable income. Y is denoting the income. If I draw this, because for the interest of time I am not drawing, I have already taken a picture. So if you draw, so as your income goes up, here it is y, your disposable income. As your income increases, your consumption increases. That's why the slope of the curve is this one, increasing slope, right? Upward slope, because as income increases, consumption increases. You tomorrow get a good job, you start earning good salary, you will spend in clothing, in buying good house, buying a car or holidaying, whatever. Your consumption will increase. But there is a survival consumption. Even if your income is zero, come to this point here, still there is some consumption. So even unemployed people, poor people, government is giving them some grant or they borrow. So at zero income also there is some consumption, which is your A, right? Which is your A here. If you draw, this is your A, that represent your autonomous consumption. That is the minimum consumption for survival when the income is zero. If you understand this, you can solve all the question which is coming on the consumption function. And B, which was asked in the question, is the marginal propensity to consume. It tells the slope of the curve. No, in mathematics, it is telling the, when we are reading this y is equal to mx plus c, this m is the slope of the curve. So this B tells you the slope of the curve, that is the propensity to consume. When income increases, you consume more. With what propensity? The slope of the curve. If the slope is higher like this, higher than this curve, it means with the increase in the income, your consumption increases very, very fast. If the slope is slightly lesser like this, so here the propensity to consume is lesser. Understood? Any question on this, MPC? And this concept is actually, if you go to the Keynesian Economics, because in the exam you can expect a question on the Keynesian Economics, that is the, I would say, the classical economic when we talk. So that is very important to understand that Keynes is the person who came out with this model, which still we are following. If this is the Great Depression time, you can see what happened to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So market crashed in 1930. So that time Keynes, a British economist, he came out with this model that to deal with the depression. So his theory was government should spend more, and his theory was demand side. In the exam, if the question comes, what is his theory? Spend, government shall spend more, create more demand, and that will bring the growth. Okay, that will bring the growth, right? So this consumption function is also based on the Keynesian theory. Is a simple linear representation, and for exam purpose this is enough, because we are not going to become an economist for this exam. Second question. Yeah, Sutosh, Agnik, correct. So this is there. So considering the current economic situation of last 1 year, which of the following is correct? So a simple one I would say, because the first one was slightly theory based. So this I thought I have taken from the newspaper. Soumya, I think I explained. What are you asking? Could you question on research part also? What research are you asking? SEBI research. Oh, here I would like to tell you, we have ixamBee faculty. You are looking for regular live classes where we are doing daily live sessions in which you can ask in face-to-face situation. Please welcome to ixamBee. You are meeting these faculty members who have cracked several exams and who are experts in their field on daily sessions in our this channel. And this is an interesting offer, never before. If you are just starting SEBI course, you are getting free with the NPS course. Okay, so this is the article, and in this article which I explained you already, the answer to the question number 2 lies. Yes, you are right, Agnik, Anshu, Nilesh. Answer is D. Lower interest rate help in the economic growth. That is what I read here when I was reading that article. The point I wanted to tell you, if you are regularly reading what is happening in the economy, what is happening today, that is going to help you also understand the theory, because theory has practical implications. So what we are doing today, so the same thing which I was telling about Keynes, He said that government shall create demand. So here by supplying more money into the market, central bank is creating more demand. Okay, so answer correct here is D. Third one, Fisher effect. Fisher effect shows, again this is a theory based question, so in today's session we are going to have 20 questions, some theory based and some today's current affairs based. Both are important for exam purpose, you have to understand both. So this question is a very straight theory based question. What is Fisher effect and what relationship it shows between which variable? I am not reading all the options, otherwise we won't be able to save time. Fisher effect is about the interest rate in long term. So real interest rate plus expected inflation. Yesterday we was doing, okay, we were doing a class, so somebody was saying that yeah, RBI does inflation expectation surveys. Expectations means what is going to be with the inflation in coming days, in coming months. So Fisher equation is a concept in economics that determines the relationship between nominal and the real interest rate under the effect of inflation. The equation states that the nominal interest rate is equal to the sum of the real interest rate and inflation. So simple, real interest rate, add inflation to it, and that becomes your nominal interest rate, as it happens everywhere. So when we add inflation into real, it becomes nominal, and this is called your Fisher effect. Okay, Fisher equation. Simple one, straightforward, you can remember. The same concept you will use for nominal GDP and real GDP. Okay, real interest rate is the rate that takes inflation into nominal interest rate is the interest rate before taking inflation. No, leave it. I don't want to confuse. Just remain here, because nominal interest rate is taking care of the inflation also. Okay, coming to next question. Sometime not writing mistakes are there, so let's focus on right things. There is no need to discuss which is the mistake. A market for short term funds which maturity is ranging from overnight to 1 year and includes financial instruments that are considered to be close substitute of money. The question is a very simple one, I would say. A simple question. What is this? Happy to see Nilesh, Agnek. You people are good, well prepared. This is money market. Again, a simple one. So I was reading this news. I thought, okay, from this, let me take a theory based question. So this news is talking actually about wave of foreign money threatens India's tight grip on rupee. Nowadays you must be reading in newspaper. If you are reading, even if you are not reading, you shall be aware that rupee is appreciating from say 75, 76 earlier, it has come to 73 and odd today. So rupee is appreciating. So the article is saying that RBI's grip on rupee value is losing. So tight grip was losing. So here it is talking about, we believe that the RBI is facing a tough task of liquidity management while juggling forex inflows, secondary and bond market purchase to keep long-term borrowing cost low and ensuring money market rates are aligned to the policy rate. So money market rates are, what is money market? Money market is a short-term market, say overnight to 1 year. So the rates in the money market shall be aligned to the policy rate. That is the idea. So money market is most important because for monetary transmission, so first impact will come in the money market, then it will go to the other markets, capital market or forex market. It will pass slowly to the other market, long term markets, because money market is short term. Okay, this is slightly higher level question. Which of the following statement is true or are true regarding the classical theory of income and employment. Classical theory of income and employment, slightly difficult label. If you do this, it means you are really well prepared. The preparation is for, say, paper 2 in phase 2 also. In phase 1, this may be a higher difficulty label. So Shivam, where do you draw a line between finance and economics? So some close overlapping will be there. So we have to be always careful, because that is why when we study, so we study it together, right? So there is no watertight boundary between finance and economics. Certain portion overlapping always happens. Right, and this one, as I said, slightly higher difficulty label, the answer is none. And when the answer is none, it makes the question more difficult. You have to bear with this truth, can't help it, because classical economist, classical theory of employment and output is a long-term theory. It is a long-term theory based on two notions, that is SEBI law. SEBI law, JB say, the economist, if you have to remember one line, he said supply creates its own demand. Rather than most of the time the theory is like the demand creates the supply. When people demand, somebody will produce. But he said you have to produce and the demand will be created. Consumer will then buy. So SEBI's law and wage price flexibility. The classical economists believe that given wage price flexibility, there are automatic forces in the economic system that tend to maintain full employment and produce output at that level. Thus, they rule out the need for fiscal policy and correction of economy. So their idea is you produce and there is a price flexibility in the market. There are market forces. So if I say invisible hand of Adam Smith, no, so that was the market force. What is that invisible hand? That market forces will come to the equilibrium, and that is a long run theory, not a short run theory. Remember the statement, in long run we all are dead. If the shape of demand curve is rectangular hyperbola, it represents. Now I would say this is the most difficult question in today's session, for me at least, because as I keep on saying, I am also not an economist, but yes, I have understood, I have learned something, and the point here is to learn for cracking the exam. So for me also this was slightly difficult, I would say. So if you can answer this also, I would say your preparation is really in a very good level. I am happy to see Ashutosh, Nilesh and Agnek, you are doing amazingly well. It is unitary elastic demand, and here let me explain you what is a rectangular hyperbola. Yan, Shu and Harsha, fantastic guys. Rectangular hyperbola is a curve under which all rectangular areas are equal. So here under this hyperbola, wherever you draw, so this is the area, not that the shape of the rectangle has to be same. So the area of this rectangle is equal to the area of, say, this rectangle. Okay, any rectangle you draw under this hyperbola, the area is going to be equal. The unitary elastic demand curve, the shape of the curve is rectangular hyperbola. This can be explained under total outlay method, where the total expenditure. So how do you calculate the total expenditure now? Price multiplied by quantity. So that is the area under this whatever rectangle you draw. Okay, if I draw, say, another one, taking, say, some other color pen, I draw this rectangle. So at this price, somebody is buying this quantity. So the area of this rectangle is also going to be the same. And this is telling you the total expenditure, right? So total expenditure remains the same if the shape of the demand curve is rectangular hyperbola. Easy to understand, and I am happy to see that you people have read it well. This question number 7 for you. Which of the following policies will result in the rightward shift of the IS curve? Your ISLM curve is in the course, so must be knowing this, not very difficult. So Vikas, SEBI is right now. Let's talk about SEBI. So crack the SEBI exam. RBI grade notification also will come, right? So that time you shall not ask for when it will come for 2022. So more important is cracking this exam. Notifications keep on coming, right, one after another. I do not know whether NABARD is coming before RBI. I am not from finance background, have not prepared for economics and finance. Will be so videos is available, yes, yes, for first timer, why not? So I am only talking simple English. You have to learn somewhere, you have to start, right? So sometimes we start feeling no, this is not for first timer. So I am just talking plain English, so you can easily follow that adway, right? And if there is a confusion, then you have to study something more, right? I am trying to explain. You have doubt, you can ask me here also. Yeah, it is easy one. Expansionary fiscal policy. If you have seen the ISLM curve, IS is investment saving and LM is liquidity preference money supply. L is liquidity preference, M is money supply. So this ISLM model, so it is of general equilibrium. So it says that where your ISLM are meeting, so that is the level of the output. So expansionary fiscal policy, what happens in case of the expansionary fiscal policy? We are following it today. With the example, it is easy to understand. What is happening today, say in Atmanirbhar package, I showed you an article, the RBI is reducing the interest rate. Government today is spending more and more, creating more fiscal deficit. In the article I told you about, government has to borrow 12 lakh crore rupees. So this is not, when you are reading theory with the practical thing happening in the economy, it becomes easy, right? So today we are following expansionary fiscal policy. Our fiscal deficit is increasing. That is expansionary fiscal policy, right? So fiscal deficit is increasing today. Why? Because government is spending. Remember my statement when I showed you the picture of Keynes. The idea is to spend and create demand. So here what is happening, government is spending. When government is spending, the IS curve shift to the right. This is the question. The government is spending right, the IS curve shift outwards, or you can say right hand shift or outward shift. It increases the aggregate demand and therefore the GDP. If LM remains the same, the IS increase to shift towards right side, towards outward, so your GDP is going to increase. And expansionary monetary policy shift the LM curve. LM curve, because again the real examples, money supply has been increased by RBI having so many instruments, total about 10% of the GDP, it's more than 10% of the GDP government is giving under Atmanirbhar packages. Some 7 lakh crore is coming from RBI, 13 lakh crore is coming from Government of India. So all this is expansionary monetary policy. There also LM curve also will shift rightwards towards this. Okay, so LM curve will also shift rightward towards this, which lowers the rate of interest. We said this in that article. Governor Das's time, interest rate is lowered by 2.25%, and this is to stimulate the demand. Increase in investment demand through multiplier process leads to a greater increase in the aggregate demand and national income. That is the outcome. Okay, not very tough. I think you can do all the questions on ISLM now. Which of the following provides the measure of general price income inflation in an economy? General price inflation in an economy. Again, I would say average level of question. Karthik, you are scoring 55-60 in ixamBee mock test. तो अच्छी बात है, that is very good. Towards the equilibrium output falls in this. Why IS curve will shift towards left, aggregate demand shift downwards, the equilibrium output? I do not understand, Ranjan, why it is shifting left. Yeah, monetary policy, that is correct. Okay, So happy to see you have a great understanding. Nilesh, Vivek, Roshan, Agnik, Harsha, all of you are right. It is deflator. So what is GDP deflator? Nominal GDP divided by real GDP. If you don't understand beyond a point, remember, I am telling you, try to understand always. It will help you. Then you can do all types of questions in any course. In any course, whether it is economics, finance, management, anywhere. Try to understand as much you can. But if you reach to a point, there is no time to understand, or you do not get enough guidance to understand. Remember it. Sometimes we have to remember also. So GDP deflator is nominal GDP divided by real GDP. GDP deflator is also called implicit price deflator. It is a measure of inflation. It is the ratio of the value of the goods and services in the economy produced in a particular year at a current price and to that of the price prevailed during the base year. Say for example, what is real GDP and nominal GDP? If I give you an example, say last year in 2020, 1 lakh cars are produced. Just an example in India, suppose. And say every car is worth rupees 10 lakh. So total value of the car produced will be 100 crore. Okay, I hope my calculations are correct. So 100 crores. Suppose this year same number of cars are produced, 1 lakh car, but the price increases by 10% to 11 lakh. So what will happen? The value, right, in the price terms will become 110 crore. So you will say the GDP has increased. So that is nominal GDP. So we have to understand what is nominal and real GDP. This is a good example to understand. So nominal takes, so is there any real increase in the number of cars produced? No. The real GDP remains the same, but because of the price increase, so increase in price is actually inflation. So that is calculated by GDP deflator. This helps in, so the extent to which the increase in gross domestic product has happened on account of higher prices rather than the increase in the output. The example I gave you, this ratio tells you that. Okay, the deflator covers the entire range of goods and services produced in the economy as against the limited commodity basket. So this is for the entire goods and services. If in the exam you have been asked to calculate nominal GDP based on deflator and real GDP, you can do that. Okay, take this to here and you can get the nominal GDP. Okay, any one you shall know, and two you shall know, third you can calculate with the formula. Yeah, so the base year today used is 11-12. That is also an exam question. My 9th question, RBI to conduct third OMO purchase of SDL next week. This had been in the news. What does SDL stands for? Full form of the SDL. Okay, straightforward question, a simple one. If you are reading what is happening, so you call it a current affairs question, but you shall know it can come in economics also. And this is the news, very recent December news. Third time RBI is issuing this SDL, which are state development loans. Okay, and when you see the options, Roshan, SEB, you people did a mistake, subsidiary, domestic. See how much confusion I created by giving a difficult option. My option, none of the above, made this question difficult. And very few of you, Vivek has done it correct, Sumik has done it correct, and Shu has also done it correct, and Agnik has also done it right. Roshan also did it wrong. So sometime what happens, this is not state domestic loans, it is development loans. So read every word carefully. Sometime the option will make the question difficult. 10th one. With respect to the conduct and performance of the company, which one correctly defines perfect competition? So basically you have to understand what is perfect competition. As the name says, perfect competition. So if you just understand monopoly, monopolistic, oligopoly, and then perfect competition. These are in your course. Understand the basics of it. It is again a very simple question. Large number of companies, perfect competition, what is large buyers, large number of sellers. Okay, so here in the option C, many companies selling similar products. Perfect competition is many buyers, many sellers, identical product, free entry and exit. Licensing shall not be there, so it shall be free entry and free exit. Say many companies selling the similar product. Say for example, if you have to tell, say product is salt, you know, the table salt we are eating, or maybe sugar. So same kind of sugar is being sold by so many companies in a perfect competition market. So you do not care much about which brand sugar you are buying. Are you caring much? No. But in buying phone or maybe mobile laptops, we are brand conscious because there is a lot of difference. So perfect competition means similar product by large number of producers. The margin will reduce because buyers is looking at price now when the product is similar. So a firm in a perfectly competitive market must charge the same price as the other firms, otherwise they will not sell. The demand curve facing a perfectly competitive firm is horizontal at the market price. Free entry and free exit, the industry means firm in a perfectly competitive market earn only a nominal profit in the long run. One cannot charge very exceptional profit in case of the perfect competition market. This one you have to be updated what is happening, again taken from the newspaper. As per the recent estimate in 2020, India GDP position globally is at which rank? You have to answer the rank here. Forex market is what you are saying, Subham. Competitive, is it a perfectly competitive market? No. You can say yes also because there are many number of sellers and there is no change in the forex as a terms of the commodity. Ultimately you will get the same dollar if you are buying dollar or same rupee. So there also the price difference is almost negligible if you buy from one seller or other seller, though it requires license to being a forex dealer. So sometimes these realities are also there. So here the India has come to 6th position. This change has happened recently because of the COVID. So now we are 6th biggest economy and the news says we will become 5th biggest by 2025. Okay. You can read more by pausing the video later. The correct answer is this, because in all books or even old magazines you will read 5th, but India has slipped to 6th position in recent months. So be careful that you are updated. Third in terms of PPP, Vivek, yeah, we have to go with that right now. Third in terms of PPP, and not only that, 6th you shall also know which are the other top countries. Tell me what USA is number 1, followed by China number 2, number 3 is Japan, and then comes Germany. So you shall remember all this, and then comes United Kingdom, and UK has taken over India's position. No, so remember all who are bigger economy than us. Which of the following statement about stimulus package is false? Which is incorrect about the stimulus package? And we are talking about Atmanirbhar stimulus package. Okay, so I am not reading the option. Yeah, Nilesh, you are right. Happy to see the sequence you remember. So this is not correct, that stimulus package always lead to inflation, and I have been telling you this technique also. Be careful about such word. Always, only, never. These kinds of words are very cautionary words. That gives you a caution that this can be an answer. Okay. It is not mandatory that stimulus package always lead to the inflation in the market. These are generally aimed at boosting demand in the market and clearing the path of economic recovery. The intention of economic package is not to increase the inflation, right? That is not the intention. It happens, that is different. Okay, and which statement are correct with respect to MPC. So again somebody will say it is a finance question, but MPC is also part of economics. I am again not reading. Please read the options carefully. And recently the members of MPC has been changed. I will come to that in the answer. Are correct, and read the questions also carefully. I am asking which one is correct, and meanwhile I am reading your comment. Yeah, good to see this participation. Shivam, Shiv, everyone. Soumya, correct. So now I am reading the statement with the first. Let me show you. These are the 6 members of Monetary Policy Committee, and remember the names may not be asked in SEBI exam, but you never know because this has happened very recently. Ashima Goyal, Jayant Verma, and Shashank Bhide. These 3 are the external members, and internal means RBI people, governor who chairs the Monetary Policy Committee, Mridul Sagar and Michael Patra. These 3 are the RBI people. So 6 people in Monetary Policy Committee, and the answer here is this. Correct one is MPC is chaired by governor of RBI. You know that, easy one. And all members except ex officio member will hold the office for a period of 4 years or until further orders, whichever is earlier. Right, so 4 years is the tenure, and the tenure lasted was over for the other members. So recently government appointed these 4 members. They do not have any security like Supreme Court judges, so cut that, and until further order, whichever is earlier. So it is also not correct. Okay. So if say RBI people they retire, they may not last 4 years in the Monetary Policy Committee, and governor is the chairman of MPC. Okay. Coming to next one. High rate of inflation has a negative impact on the BOP. This effect can be attributed to, and high rate of inflation, today we are going to are facing this higher rate of inflation. Yeah, Shivam, in exam also you will get confusing words. So that is the beauty of multiple choice questions. There will be confusing words, so we have to be careful about words and also about the confusing options. Okay. So here in this, yes, you are right. Second option, Nilesh, is correct. Prices of exported goods rise, making export less competitive. Because of the higher inflation, right, the export become less competitive. And what is balance of payment? It is a set of account that recognizes all the commercial transactions performed by the country in a particular period with the remaining countries in the world. So all your export, import, and also any other remittances coming from abroad, so that all is recorded in balance of payment, all monetary transactions done by a country with the other countries. So BOP, if the BOP is 0, it means that both debits and credit are equal, right? So inflation scenario means when money supply is greater. Today's situation, if the money supply increase in the market, people start demanding for goods and services, which causes hike in the price. Inflation leads reduction in the export due to goods and services prove more costlier in the international market, and this will worsen the BOP of the country. And import, because inflation, money supply increases in the market, which enhances the purchasing power of the people, which lead to increment or enhance in the demand of the goods and services. To fulfill that, there may be more import. I will come to what is happening today in today's situation. Nilesh is saying third question ka second option. What is that? So you have to, I will comment that in the comment later, because otherwise I won't be able to complete today. The policy that determines the free conversion of domestic currency with international currency is, so what is this called? So Nilesh, if you have this confusion, no, what you do after the class is over, let's connect in the comment section, because I have to complete the class on time. I have another session because today I cannot delay it. But there is no confusion otherwise. So what is this? Free conversion of your currency to any other currency. Easy one. You have to understand this. That is called capital account convertibility. So this can be interesting. Whether today we have complete account capital account convertibility, complete we cannot say exactly. We always say ours is a free, ours is a managed float. Capital account convertibility means complete freedom to convert local financial assets into foreign financial assets and vice versa at market determined rate of exchange. This implies that capital account convertibility allows anyone to freely move from local currency into foreign currency. Like current account convertibility allows free inflows and outflows of all purposes other than the capital purpose. Capital purpose is investment and loans. So the word capital. So when we talk about capital market, right? Capital market is when it is investment into the shares of the company, right? So if I ask you a question, capital market is regulated by, we have to say SEBI, right? Because then we talk about the capital market of investing in the shares of a company. So capital is about investment. So current account convertibility means for any other purpose, like you are going for foreign travel. So for that kind of thing, we have current account convertibility. While calculating CPI, in inflation, the target of 2 to 6% RBI takes into account. What RBI takes into account? CPI. House rent is calculated for which sector? So that is the question. Because CPI is used for inflation targeting in India. Okay, RBI takes into account CPI. Yeah, you can say partial CAC, that is fine. Tarapur committee, old one now, but yeah, that was the, I think, still the last one. So I am happy to see, no, not happy to see, because most of you are writing C, option C, while the correct answer is option B. Murnal has said that, and Shubhra has also said that, because in rural areas there is hardly any rent income. House rent is compiled only by CPI urban. This is not compiled for rural because there is negligible number of rented houses in rural area. The sector wise weight which I have given here, this will not be asked in the exam. So sometime we also keep providing extra information. It helps us in understanding, right? But don't go for sector wise weight. Understand important things. NDP MP. What is this? This is a theory based question of economics. You must have read theory books by now. So the answer straightforward is, when we talk about net domestic product at market price, it will be equal to at factor cost plus net indirect taxes. So let me explain it to you. If you want to read, you can read. But when we are talking about NDP market price, say for example, take something, say you are buying an atta, Ashirwad atta. I shall not promote the brand, but nothing against Ashirwad or Patanjali atta. Whatever you want to buy, you are buying, say, atta, wheat flour, or as I said, you are buying some sugar. So whatever you are buying, because ultimately when you are talking about net domestic product, so we are talking about what we are uh, domestic product in the economy, so which is measured by the price. That price has two component. One is at the, when we talk about factor cost, so factor cost is what you have paid for the land, labor, capital and management, entrepreneurship, which goes into the net production, right? So in addition to the, this will be charged by the company in that case, right? When I said Ashirwad atta, it will be charged by the ITC company. In addition to this, there will be some taxes. So indirect taxes are, say, GST is an indirect tax. Okay, so on this you have to pay tax. That becomes your market price. That is the right way to remember this. Simple. So market price is factor cost plus indirect taxes. not income tax. Income tax is direct tax, indirect taxes. So in Atmanirbhar package 3, the government has launched ECLGS2. Do you know the full form of ECLGS2? For healthcare sector and 26 stress sector, which committee has identified these 26 sectors? Question is simple. If I would have asked this full form of ECLGS, that would have made the question slightly difficult. Maybe I would have given all confusing options and correct answer none of these. That makes it tougher. Okay, so oh god, I was not expecting this for 18 guys. Encasing committee. Acha, no. Anshu said B. And Vivek is saying A. Bimal Jalan committee. Hello, you are not reading in anything in current affairs. This is coming so much in news. This is coming so much in news. VK Kamath committee. RBI constituted an expert committee under the chairmanship of VK Kamath. And do you know who is VK Kamath? This is not mentioned in the slide. And before this, what he was doing? So this is to identify stress sector and suggested financial parameters to factor in the resolution plan and with sector specific benchmark. And this committee identifies 26 sectors. Some of the sectors are aviation, real estate, power, constructions, auto, road, sugar, textile, etc. This is emergency credit line guarantee scheme. So earlier it was part 1, 1.0, now it is 2.0. So remember the full form of this also. No, he is not ex-governor. VK Kamath is not ex-governor. He was earlier heading ICICI Bank. In fact, the credit of making ICICI Bank a large institution goes to him. And after that, he went to China for leading, yes, New Development Bank President. Nilesh, you are right. So now his term is over in New Development Bank, and he was heading this committee. The National Education Policy, this is about the government has announced National Education Policy 2020 based on which committee's recommendation. So again a very straightforward factual question. This is K. Kasturirangan committee, and K. Kasturirangan is a space scientist. He was heading ISRO, because in exam if the question comes who is K. Kasturirangan, so you shall not feel like from where this is coming and why a scientist question is asked in the economic section, right, or general awareness section. So he has been heading this committee which submitted the draft National Economic Policy to Ministry of Human Resource. Now the ministry is renamed as Ministry of Education. Okay, that is also important. Yeah, most of you have answered it perfect. Now last question, which of the following correctly explains India's current account surplus in recent quarter? So we were talking about BOP, balance of payment, and today after long years, last 3 quarters, India's BOP is in surplus. So I am not saying that surplus is good, so please don't misunderstand my statement. I have never said that BOP surplus is good, but it is in surplus today. The question asks, what is the reason for this surplus? Himani Harsha, nobody is Himani Harsha. Read carefully. Read carefully. Answers, options are not confusing, but if you have not read it, it may be slightly difficult also. The correct answer here is both export and import declined. So that has happened in the COVID time, no? So this is the news. So I am taking it from the news, and you can understand in the COVID time export and import both declined. The surplus have been enabled by narrowing of the country's usually very large merchandise trade deficit. This is primarily due to steeper decline in the import relative to the export, which reflects a demand slump in the economy. So both declined, import and export, but the decline in the import is steeper than the decline in the export. Okay, we import lot of oil? Lot of oil we import, and when we were under lockdown, what was the demand for oil? So there was no demand for oil. So that's very sharp decline in the import. There is decline in the export also, but for import you have to pay in dollars, so you could conserve more dollars. So the country came into current account surplus. Yeah, so equilibrium is considered to be best. So I am not saying which is best or which is worst. So it depends on the situation. So this is for today. And for any questions, any confusion, please ask me in the comment. As I said, I have to rush for another session, and I will try to reply as far as possible. But I am happy to see the participation. Your preparation is good. Suggest you to prepare for all 6 sections for paper 2 and crack SEBI Grade A exam. So logically, Vivek, I will explain the comment. So you have to go by the economic theory, not just by logic, and also the factual situation. Also by the factual situation. So the factual situation is this, right? So that will remain the correct answer. Okay, and thanks for today's session. Nice participation. Wish you all the best for the exam. Don't forget to subscribe the channel.